Hello, everyone. How exciting is it to have Jamie Novak in our living room and in our viewpoint? For those who don't know, you are going to walk out of here with so many ways to keep your life organized and improve every single aspect of your life. And Jamie's the one who's going to do it. If you do not get our newsletter, Union Public Library newsletter, I beg you to please send me your email address. It's very, very easy to unsubscribe if you don't want it, and you will learn about all the great programs we have. But let's start with tonight's great program. Jamie Novak, introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Debbie. It's great to be here. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jamie Novak. I see some familiar friends and faces online. Thank you so much. If you'd like to have your video turned on, it just makes us feel together. So thank you for that, but totally optional. And I'm meeting some new friends for the first time tonight. So I hope we will stay in touch beyond this program. And it's delighted. I'm really happy to be here. This is the first program. There'll be another one. So if you are on the newsletter list, you'll be one of the first to know about it. And we do hope you'll come back. So tonight is all about getting our decluttering done, especially for those of us that put it off. Is that what drew you to tonight's program? Maybe it's not just that we've got some decluttering to do. It's that it's not our most favorite thing to do. And so everything else is a priority. And then our shelves are full of things. Our closets won't close and we cannot get our car into the garage if you have one. So we've got a lot to cover in our time together. And as we start off, I'll just invite you to maybe think about, are you procrastinating or are you percolating? Are you procrastinating or are you percolating? And I'd love to start our time off together by giving you sort of the distinction that I see between the two. Then we'll move into some strategies for clearing the clutter in so many different areas of our home, getting that calm, in control, sense of relief that comes with coming out from under the weight of the stuff. And spring cleaning is such a perfect time to really focus in on that as we're swapping out our seasons. And so we'll start with, am I percolating or am I procrastinating? I think sometimes we are so quick to jump to the, I'm procrastinating. I should be doing this. I should be working on this. I should have gotten to it sooner. It's always last on my list. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes I'm thinking that maybe we're in percolation mode. And to me, I sort of visualize that coffee maker that sort of sits on the stovetop, the percolator kind. Or the one that you plug in a big meeting and it's got that little clear top and you kind of see the coffee shooting up and you can kind of see it percolating until it's ready. And that's sort of what I think about when I'm trying to decide, am I procrastinating or am I percolating? And when I'm percolating, for me, it's that I'm still gathering information, still figuring out exactly what to do. And when I don't know what to do, I don't do anything, which is why that's for me more percolating than it is, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, which is maybe more on the procrastinating side of things. So I just want to share that thought with you because sometimes you need a nudge and sometimes you just need more information. And until you get the information, you can't take the step. And so if you kind of get down on yourself about why am I not doing this, maybe we can't do it because we don't have enough information. So I wanted to share that with you. And now you're probably maybe thinking, you know what? She could be right. On these few things, I'm definitely procrastinating. I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. And I'm going to give you some strategies. But on the other side of things, there's a really good chance that we're percolating on some things and we might just need a little bit more information. So our whole idea during our time together tonight will really be to focus on 8 different strategies. So there'll be 8 strategies that I'd love to share with you about overcoming procrastination. I'm not suggesting that each and every one of them will be a winner for you. You may love one more than another. You may already be trying one. They may all be new to you. I don't know that we have to try all 8 tonight, but maybe you try different ones for different things and you just may hit on the 1 or 2 strategies that's just going to move your whole to-do list forward. Talking about procrastination and percolating, I just want to remind you also that to-do lists are meant to be very long lists of things you need to do. And they're meant to be full because life is filled with things we need to do. So I don't think that our to-do list is ever done. I do think that your daily or weekly action list of what you're doing that day or that week will be accomplished. but I don't ever foresee a time when your to-do list is done, because just as soon as you cross one thing off the list, there's 2 more things that come on the list. So that to-do list, I think, is just an evergreen list that's happening all the time. The tasks that you take off the to-do list to get done, that's more like the action list. And that's the one that I could see you finishing up and recycling at the end of a day or a week. Until I sort of made that differentiation on my part, I was always struggling behind a to-do list that was never done. And I always felt unsuccessful. I wasn't completing enough. Why wasn't I getting it done? And then I realized, wait a minute, it's never meant to be done. So I just want to share that with you in case you maybe hadn't stopped long enough to think about it because you've been so busy doing things. And then you're like, wait a minute, that is a really good point. And I'm actually doing a really good job. Listen, you remembered that it's Wednesday. You found the link, you logged on, and you're here, which, you know, some people had great plans to come. They may have procrastinated about registering and now they've missed it, or they didn't make it a priority and you did. So congratulations on giving yourself the gift of this hour with us. And we're just really, really glad that you're here. Let's talk about decluttering and those 8 strategies for solving the procrastination around getting organized or anything else that you may just be putting off. So we'll be applying these strategies to decluttering, but of course, I think the 8 strategies will just work in every other aspect that you're trying to get done and might find yourself just putting off a little tiny bit. And the very first one that I want to share with you is all about finding a partner, an accountability partner, an accountability partner. Maybe you have a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, a family member. It might be someone you share your home with, but I'll say oftentimes it's not. It's usually some person outside your home that makes a really good accountability partner, but you'll be, you know, the one to make that decision. And look around tonight. Do you recognize anyone here? Maybe you've been in a meeting with them before or a club and you're like, oh, I remember we took that meditation class. And listen, if clutter is stressing you out, tomorrow morning at 11:30, right here online through our wonderful Union Public Library, you can join us for a meditation class. So if you are stressed out by the clutter and maybe you've been coming to the class and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I remember, you know, we met in class or online, and maybe you make that connection in the chat and that person can be your accountability partner. We're looking for that accountability partner. Now, think of your sort of, you know, group, your friend group. And if no one's really coming to mind, or there's not someone that you're thinking, oh, yes, that could be my person, then I volunteer. I will absolutely be your accountability partner. Every Tuesday, I send out a newsletter that can really act as that prompt. Every Monday, there's a podcast you can listen to. And if you say, I'm going to work while I listen to the 10-minute podcast that Jamie records for me every Monday, then that could be your accountability. Continuing to come to online programs like this one, again, that accountability. So finding that accountability partner, especially when it's hard sometimes to hold ourselves accountable, you go, well, I've got this partner who's going to call me at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday and we're going to do a little bit. And then we'll get on the phone and say that went really well, right? It's that kind of thing where you're like, well, if it was just you, you're like, oh, maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. But when you know someone else is depending on you, that partner can be a great strategy. So an accountability partner. Join us in the chat if you're thinking of someone. You can give us their name or you can tell us their relation to you. Let us know if there's someone that's coming to mind, neighbor, coworker, friend, family member, acquaintance from a class. Of course, I volunteer, that accountability partner. And that could be the person. Now, Cece's saying romantic partner that I don't live with. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So the reason I said sometimes if you're sharing your space with a person, romantic partner or otherwise, you know, sometimes there's different levels of clutter. And, you know, it's very easy for you to notice someone else's stuff. And then that might not be a very harmonious conversation, but you'll decide. But I love that Cece's recognized here a romantic partner that you don't live with. So again, that person that can say, let's do this together. So we're sort of teaming up against the clutter versus against each other. So I love that. So what does that partner relationship look like and how could it work for us? And so there's different ways of figuring this out, but I'm thinking one of the ways would be for a partner to be able to help you to move things, especially if it's a partner that you're going to be able to work with in person. So let's say you had some electronics that were hanging out in a closet. They were old, out of date, they weren't working, or they're in a garage and you just need help moving things or getting them into the car and getting them to where they need to go. And it might surprise you to learn that Best Buy and Staples stores are collection points for electronics year-round. Best Buy and Staples stores. So if you are nearby, of course, we've got the Best Buy right in Union on Route 22, Union, New Jersey. You've got the Best Buy, you've got the Staples store right there. If you're more towards the Watchung area, the Watchung Square Mall has the stores for you as well. I'm trying to think what, so Staples is like down at the bottom of the Watchung Square Mall. So you've got different opportunities for free to bring your electronics in for electronic recycling year round. So that partner, you could say, hey, listen, let's get these electronics over to the place and then let's, grab a quick bite to eat or stop at the park and take a walk or something else really exciting. Maybe head to the library and check out some books. Our library can be such a great resource that we're not having to store all these things ourselves. In fact, if you're lucky enough that the Union Public Library is your home library and you are a card holder at the Union Public Library, did you know that they have a library of things? And I just want to tell you a few things that you can borrow from the library. Are you ready for this? And you're going to get really jealous if you are not a card holder at the Union Public Library, and you might bring this idea to your library because just listen to what they have. And this is just a small sampling. A Chromebook that you can borrow, like an actual laptop, and a hotspot to go along with it to get connected to internet. If anyone's going to be traveling and you need to check the weight of your bag for carry-on and for checking your luggage, a luggage scale. Outdoor games, board games, gardening tools, just drills and other tools. Bakeware. I mean, if you don't need to bake a bunch of bundt cakes, but you can borrow the pan, how wonderful. Instruments. Does anyone want to try a ukulele? You can borrow one. You can borrow a bubble machine. How fun would that be for a wedding or a party? And the most favorite thing that I saw on the list of things that I can borrow from the Union Public Library. Are you ready? Dun, dun, dun. A label maker. You can borrow a label maker. So just imagine you could spend all weekend labeling everything that stands still long enough and then return the label maker. So definitely take a look at your library. If Union Public Library is yours, if they don't have a library of things, maybe suggest it. It works beautifully. And we do invite you to check out unionpubliclibrary.org. So it's uplnj.org. And the Library of Things is one of the tabs there. Here it is.
And of course, Jamie, there are 3 ways to get a library card. Work, go to school, or live in Union. There's also a card you can buy, and you would have access to so many of these things, including museum passes. Take your grandchildren, go yourself, even better. Come check us out. Thanks, Jamie.
I love that. So 3 different ways to get a card. So if you're in the area, there's going to be a run on the Library of Things. Request them. They'll have them available for you. And how great. Again, Debbie mentions those museums. So the next one on the list of overcoming procrastination is all about a reward. And gosh, I don't know about you, but if there's been a museum you've wanted to go to or some activity you've wanted to take part in, or you just want to spend time doing a hobby or getting out in the garden, it's starting to really feel like gardening season, whatever that looks like. Number 2 on our list as a reward. So you say, I'm going to do this not so fun, kind of boring, not really excited about doing this decluttering thing. But once I do it, then that means I'm going to go on this reward. So sort of think of it like a maze that you'll see like a little mouse run through the maze to get the cheese at the end, right? That's what we're doing. The not so fun thing to get that really great reward at the end. That's kind of the visual that I have in my mind when I think about a reward. So welcome to those that might just be tuning in. It's great to see you. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for having your video turned on. This program had been recorded from the start, so if you missed anything, we invite you to go back and watch it or watch it again. And please do. You'll be getting tomorrow a list, and it will include like the resources that we'll send along, plus the link to watch. So stay tuned for that. And we are sharing 8 strategies for overcoming procrastination in different areas of our home that we are procrastinating about, decluttering about. And number 1 on our list was all about finding that accountability partner. Number 2 is a reward. And I'm going to be sharing with you a few different areas that I think most of us tend to procrastinate about. And I'm going to invite each and every one of you that have tuned in with us tonight to start creating a list of 6, the 6 spots in your home, office, life that you are putting off organizing. And this is going to make a lot more sense when I get more towards the end, but just trust me, you're going to want a list of 6. There may be more than 6. You can put the extras to the side, but we're going to start with the top 6. So we're going to create a top 6 list during our time together. And you may already be starting to fill in 1 and 2 and 3, going, oh, I already know, we talked about electronics and those being recyclable for free at Best Buy and Staples stores. Maybe that's on your list. And maybe something else is catching your eye and you go, yep, that's what I want to do too. So we're going to want that list of 6. Our very first strategy was all about finding that accountability partner. Number 2 is a reward. And it could look like if you use food as a reward that you're going to get that little, chocolate covered cherry as a little sweet treat. It could look like any other activity. Hopefully our reward doesn't involve shopping for more stuff. That would not be the best reward, but any other reward, and I'll probably take it, and time spent at the library would be a great reward as well. So thinking about a reward, what would that look like for you? And let's just say that on your list of 6, you're putting something like your clothes closet or your shoes. And if it's shoes, did you know that DSW is a collection point for shoes year round? They collect for soles for souls. So you can bring your shoes into DSW. So that means you're going to want to get a few pairs of shoes into a bag, ones that you're not using and loving anymore. We'll get those in a bag. Then we've got to get the bag into the car. Then we've got to drive the car to DSW. Then we have to walk in, hand our bag to the cashier. And here's the most important part. If you've joined me for a program before, you know what I'm going to say. Walk out of DSW. Under no circumstances are we now shopping for more shoes now that we've made space by decluttering some shoes and donating them to Souls for Souls. The collection point is DSW. So this would be a great one if you're thinking, yep, I've got some shoes to go and we just need a pair or 2, and then a great reward while you're out and already near DSW. Maybe it's getting your favorite coffee drink from a fancy coffee place or anything else. And that's how we could utilize that reward feature. And that's number 2 on our list of 8. Are you starting to fill in your top 6 list? I hope so. So we'll continue on. I'll give you a few more ideas, and I'm guessing you have some ideas of your own. And we're going to take a look at that top 6 list in just a moment. All right, let's move on to number 3 on our list. And that is going public, So this would look like what my sister just did, which is she said, number 1, I'm inviting you over to help me organize the garage because she knows how much I love to organize, especially when it's someone else's stuff. Because then I'm like, you don't need that. But if it was mine, I'd be like, I have to keep it. So it's so much easier to do someone else's stuff. So she invited me over to help her organize the garage. And then we have 2 other sisters where I'm one of 4. So then she said, we're going to have a driveway party the next weekend. So by going public and inviting the sisters over for a driveway party that's going to include partially putting some things in the garage and wanting to show off the newly organized garage, she kind of has to do it now. So she has not only done 1, the accountability partner, but 3, she's gone public with it. So if you say, I'm inviting people over, maybe for an outdoor party on the deck, but you wanted to organize the backyard, there you go. Or maybe you're going to have someone stay over and they're going to need that, guest area that right now is guest room, storage room, office, clutter spot, a little bit of everything, right? You've got to clear out the space. So going public can really make us, it has to happen. It makes you make it happen. So that's the next one on our list, going public, which just might work. And of course, the next one on our list is one of my favorites. I'm going to bring out the famous timer. You might recognize it if you've joined me for programs in the past, or if you read my newest book, Keep This, Toss That. You know how much I love setting a timer for 10 minutes. I think it is the secret sauce. It gets us started. It gives us a starting point. It gives us an ending point. And if you're thinking, well, that is completely unrealistic. If Jamie saw my space, right? If she could see behind me in my Zoom video, she would say, you're going to need way more than 10 minutes. And I would say that's true for just about any spot that any of us is organizing. But what if you were to do 10 minutes of the bigger project or a small project in 10 minutes? Small, consistent windows, right? Little chip away, chip away, chip away, and we're done. So setting a timer is a great strategy. It's number 4 on our list, and it is one of my favorites. It works beautifully, and we're going to have an opportunity to try it right now. So we're going to have a little live tidy, and this is totally optional. So if you didn't know you were signing up to join me for a little organizing during the program, you don't have to. But if you're like, this is great, I want to get started right now, I can't wait till the end of the program, then let us begin. I'm going to invite you to turn your attention to a nearby shelf, probably a bookcase. Of course, you could choose your own organizing adventure and substitute in an area, but I'm thinking books, CDs, DVDs. You may even have things displayed like cute items, which we'll talk about in a minute. You may have awards and trophies. This was Women Leaders in Action from 2016. You may have books, a travel guide to Jamaica. You went on your honeymoon. You've been married 42 years. Things have changed. You can borrow the new travel guide from the library, books and CDs and DVDs. I don't use the disc. I have no way of like even playing the disc on anything in my home, but I was saving them as a reminder that I wanted to watch the movie. I wanted to listen to the soundtrack. So the solution, I think, for a lot of us might be snapping a photo. Take a picture of the movie or the artist, the music. Take a picture of the book that you think you might want to reread, and then you can borrow it from the library. Take a photo of special things. I don't need the award to remember the moment, but seeing it brings back the memory. Snap a photo and see if the photo is enough that then you feel confident in letting the actual item go, especially if they're cute. Yes.
Hey, Jamie, Edith wants to know, where did you get the boxes underneath your book on your right behind you? What are they and how are they used?
Oh, what a great question. I'd love to answer that. So the boxes behind me, oh, what a clever eye that you noticed those. So they're meant for putting photos in. And I just got them at the local arts and crafts store when they were like, buy one, get one free. So fairly inexpensive. If, you know, they're somewhat decorative, so I don't mind them sitting out. And one is for keepsake. So I have greeting cards in one. One is for my watercolors because I'm lucky enough to get to take some online watercolor classes. And I used to put everything in the closet and then I'd have to go get it. So now I could just turn around, get everything, put it out and work. One has all the cords and cables and connections to set up a Zoom program to join you. And then so I don't lose the things and things don't get damaged and broken. They go right back in the box and it's super simple to set them up again. So that's what the boxes go all the way to the floor. It's a huge stack of them, but they're kind of pretty. And then of course they hold the book and off to the side, they hold a salt rock lamp as well. So I just got them from the office, the arts and crafts store, and they're meant for photos, but they don't have photos inside. They have just about everything but photos. It's such a great question. Thanks, Edith. So we're going to take just a few minutes. We can't take all 10 because we have so much more to cover in our time together, but we're just going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be 3 minutes, which I know sounds like the blink of an eye, but just try it. And this is going to be 3 minutes to look for 3 things on that bookshelf that you can either put away where they belong or put in a bag to donate or maybe sell. And I'll tell you how in a minute. 3 minutes, 3 things. Straighten up that bookshelf with me. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1, and go. You're looking for 3 things in 3 minutes. Who can find it? We're looking for those items that you're not going to use and love, you don't need, you can take a picture of. Just relocate things, straighten things up. What does it look like over there as you are tidying up with us? 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. Plenty of time. Look for a little something. See if you can find a book or a CD or a DVD. What can you find? You still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So plenty of time. If you were like, gosh, this time is going to go too fast, you might really be surprising yourself about what you can accomplish in this little tiny window. Timer's ticking. And you are looking on a shelf, finding a few things. I hope so. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Plenty of time. A book you won't read. You already went to the book club. You're not in the book club anymore. 2 minutes left. Old travel guide, old reference book. 2 minutes left. Let's tidy up. Here we go. Timer's ticking. And what are you finding? If you're back already, let us know in the chat. Did you find one thing, two things, three things, or more? Let us know in the chat. Give us a number. We are now officially halfway through, 1 minute and 30 seconds left. 1:30 left on our timer. Timer's ticking. Remember, this is just 3 minutes, so you might really be shocking yourself as to what you are accomplishing. Our timer's ticking. Here we go. If you're back already, give us a number or tell us what you found. We'd love to hear all about it. Okay, how's it going? Let's do a little time check-in. We are down to our very last minute. It is our very last minute. Our timer is ticking away. 54 seconds. 54 seconds. Timer's ticking.
What's the weirdest thing you ever threw out, Jamie?
That is a great question. Well, let's see. Probably one of the oldest things I ever threw out was a manicure set from my great-great-grandmother that had just been like, by that point, it was like rusty and the velvet pouch was just deteriorating when you just looked at it. You didn't even have to touch it.
Yes.
But I did take a picture first because it really was such a great thing. But I was like, this is unhealthy to use.
So you're just like the rest of us.
Yeah, because I loved it so much, but I took a picture. It's a great question. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are done. Can you imagine? There we go. Timer's done. Oh my gosh, that was the buzzer. So if you heard that chiming softly in the background, welcome back. That was 3 minutes. Did it maybe feel a little longer? Were you able to maybe make a few more decisions than you expected in a little window of time? And just imagine if you did 10 minutes a day in one category, what would change? All those little wins would add up to a big difference, and it's very exciting. So let us know in the chat. Did you find 1, 2, 3, or 4 things? Give us a number or let us know what you found. We'd love to hear about it. And let me tell you about Declutter. Now, please do note the spelling of Declutter. It's D-E-C-L-U-T-T-R, Declutter. I'm going to show it to you on the screen so you can get a sense of what it would look like. But this is a company that will buy your items outright. CDs, DVDs, books, video games, old electronics. So what you would do is click the Sell tab right here on the top, and you can see all the different categories of things that they buy. And then you will just tell them what you have. If you're really fancy on your smartphone, you could get the app and you could do it on the app. And if you did the app, you would just hold your camera over the barcode and you wouldn't even have to type anything. If you do it on the computer, you'll type the information in. Then they'll tell you, yes, we want to buy it, hopefully. And when they tell you that, they'll tell you how much. And then it will be your padded envelope or your box. They pay the shipping. You'll print out a free postage paid label. And if you don't have a printer at home, head right over to the library. They'll help you print it out. And then the great thing is the postage is paid, you put it in, and whether it's 50 cents, $5, maybe $50 for something like a video game console, and that money's coming right back to you. And you didn't even have to have a yard sale or put stuff in a box and then procrastinate about having the yard sale. And 5 years later, you hadn't even sold anything. This is so super simple. So Declutter, and please note the spelling. There's no E before the R. It's www.declutter, DECLUTTR.com. There's no E before the R. And then you can put your information in and they will pay you by PayPal. If you'd rather they get a paper check, PayPal can send you a paper check. I know not everyone's comfortable in PayPal. PayPal can send you a paper check if you'd prefer a check. So lots of different ways. Rosalie asked it as I said it. So I'm guessing we were on that same wavelength, Rosalie. So they'll pay you by PayPal or PayPal can send you a paper check if you prefer not to disclose your bank account information. And I know not everyone does. So perfect. Great question. And I hope that helps you out. So the next one on our list, we talked about having a partner and a reward and going public and a timer and of course, money. So money at the end of the organizing rainbow can be just that little jackpot that we're like, yes, I want to try this out. And during the commercial break from your favorite television show, you could spend some time looking up a few and just see what it would be. And maybe it will be a little something. So we can certainly look at that. And that is a great one for things that come off of our bookcase, most especially. The Princeton Record Exchange you guessed it, Princeton buys records. There may be other local record shops, but Princeton is the largest and I think gives you the most for them. So you could check out the Princeton Record Exchange, and that is in, you guessed it, Princeton. Well, the next one on our list for overcoming procrastination is all about eating our peas. All about eating our peas. And if you love peas as a vegetable, then you'll have to substitute in a vegetable that's not your favorite. So you can put beets or broccoli, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Brussels sprouts. Maybe I should say eat your Brussels sprouts. I don't know. I happen to really like those. But the next one on our list is all about getting the thing that is the worst off your list first, so that everything else on your list is a lot more palatable. So if you think of maybe a fine dining situation where they plated your food for you and like 3/4 of the plate looks delicious, but there's that one little part that's that vegetable that's just staring at you and you're like, I can't enjoy any of this because I know I'm going to have to get this part down. And if you just do the worst part first, then everything else is super simple. Now, when I talked to my sister about this strategy, she said to me, well, actually, I'm the complete opposite. And my sister shared with me that she actually has to work up by doing the little things, the little fun things, to then get the momentum to take on and tackle that big thing. So I'll just say you can use it one way or the other. And of course, your personality may help decide that, or what the project is can help determine, or just your energy level that day. But whether we do the worst first, or we do all the little fun things to work, or more enjoyable things to work up to getting over that hurdle of the worst, it's such a great strategy to look at our list. So hopefully along the way, you've been filling in 6 things. So if you tuned in just a tad late, you may have missed my suggestion. And that is, we're looking for a top 6 list. So hopefully you're starting to fill in. Maybe it was bookshelf, maybe it was shoes. Of course, I'm giving you some ideas, but you're probably coming up with your own as we go along. And the next one on our list is all about a deadline. It's all about a deadline. So a deadline makes things happen. Think back to something you had to do. Most recently, taxes comes to mind. There was a deadline. Before that, you might think back to a school environment where you had a book report due, right? There's a deadline. Deadlines make things happen. And so whether you wait until midnight the night before or you start on it a week or 2 before, the thing is, you got it done. And so deadlines are really, really helpful. So you can set up a deadline by scheduling a pickup by a charitable organization to come and get a bag of things. Because now you know they're coming, you have to make at least 1 bag because you wouldn't want them to make the trip for nothing. So you can schedule a pickup, and you can very easily do that through donationtown.org, donationtown.org. And so this is one place that you can go. You just pop in your zip code, and then onto the screen will come a list of organizations that are coming and that you can choose from that list. And it's going to include things like Goodwill. It's going to include things like Habitat for Humanity. They take furniture. You're going to see so many different organizations. In fact, let me show you what that's going to look like on your screen at home. And it will look like this. You'll see the little Donation Town truck. So there's our truck. And then you're just going to click this orange square here that says click here to schedule a pickup. You're going to pop in your zip code, and this works in all 50 states, and then you click find. And right now, based on volunteers to drive the trucks and how much space they have in the warehouse, the Vietnam Veterans of America is coming to zip code 07081 right now. And you can adjust your zip code, you can find your place, and then you can schedule the pickup. You're going to choose the date, and then they're coming. And if you wanted to make a few scheduled appointments, maybe 1 every Friday for the next 4 Fridays, let's say, what does that mean? You have to fill a bag. And a deadline is probably one of the most powerful ways to make this whole thing happen. So a deadline is a great strategy. The deadline could also look like that you know you're going to be in a particular area and it's nearby to where they are collecting things. And so it would just be perfect for you to have that deadline. As an example, let's say you have books. Now, right now, the library is kind of in a temporary place. They're not really taking all of the books and things right now. and you might not want to wait. Of course, you could see if another local library is taking them for a book collection. So many of the Friends of the Library groups do so many amazing things for libraries, so it's nice to support them. But no library, no Friends group wants your textbooks from years gone by. They don't want an encyclopedia set. They don't want, an atlas or an almanac. They really can't do anything with it. If you'd like to see about how to support the Friends of the Union Public Library, you can just pop over an email to the Friends group, and I popped that right in the chat for you to look at that. So unionlibraryfriends@gmail.com. Now, Edith said, must you use the charity that pops up, or can you specify a charity? It's a great question, Edith. So the list, when you put your zip code into donationtown.org, it's just going to give you the ones that are coming. But from that list, you'll select the one. In this case, there was only one. But had there have been a few others, a different area, a different time, it changes at midnight every night. So always check back. From that list, you could specify who, and they tell you what they're taking. Some take large furniture, some don't. Some take mattresses, some don't. So Edith, from the list, if there's more than one, you absolutely select the one that you want. It's such a great question. Thanks for clarifying that. So the deadline's really helpful. And the deadline could look like scheduling a pickup. It could look like putting a cake in the oven, and the deadline is when the cake comes out, I want to be done with this particular area. So working in little bits. And if you're going to be making a cake, let me tell you about my delicious lemon cake. I just made it, and I think you're going to want to make it too, assuming you like lemon. So basically, you're going to prepare a vanilla cake according to the box directions. So prepare the vanilla cake, put the batter in the 9x13 pan, just like you would, or you could do muffin pans, but whatever you're going to make, prepare it by the directions. This is a vanilla cake. I know I said lemon, but you're using a vanilla cake right now. Then you're going to take some lemon curd and just scoop and put some dollops all along the top of that already prepared batter. You could swirl it a bit if you want. I don't even do that. And then you bake it according to the directions. When your toothpick comes out clean, your cake is ready. But you can imagine how moist it is with that lemon curd that's kind of melted into the cake itself. So we've got a vanilla box cake mix prepared as usual. Dollops of, I did a lemon curd, but of course, if there's a different curd you'd prefer, go for it. And then our icing, once the cake is cool, is going to be a tub of lemon icing blended with a tub of thawed Cool Whip, which makes it light and airy and delicate and delicious. So this happens to be lemon, but again, if you wanted to use maybe a strawberry, that could be delicious. So feel free to experiment with your own, flavor combination. But it's a box mix prepared as usual in whatever way you're going to bake it. And of course, remember, you can borrow the bakeware from the library. You're going to dollop on all of that curd. Then you're going to bake it according to the directions. You're going to take a tub of thawed Cool Whip, blend it with a tub of just over-the-counter icing, and it is light and airy and delicious. And that will make a good deadline. It will also make a great reward. And it would also make a great public statement, come over for a cake, but I'm going to clean my countertop first. So now you've got a partner, you've got accountability, you've got a reward, you've got a deadline, and you've got a timer all mixed in one, because the cake is going to bake for a specific time and you have that time to work. So it kind of utilizes like everything we've talked about. The very last strategy I'm going to be sharing with you in just a moment. But before we get there, I want to make sure that you have a top 6 list. Without a top 6 list, this isn't going to work. So be sure you're filling in your top 6 while we're waiting. Carolyn Ann says, I make a deadline for myself when I know that I'll be passing a local thrift shop. She's so spot on. If you know you're going to be in the area, you're going to be by a DSW. I love this, Carolyn Ann. Thank you for sharing in the chat with us. When you know you're going to be in the area, and that might look like, you're going to be by Furniture Assist. For those of you that are in the Union area, this is on Commerce Street in Springfield, furnitureassist.com. And guess what they take? Did you guess furniture? You'd be right. They take all the furniture and all the household things. So that would be perfect if you're going to be in the area. If you're going to be over by Big Lots on Route 22 in Union, by the Big Lots store, there is a big green drop box for Better World books. So the library does not want your encyclopedia set, but you can certainly drop all the books into the depository. It's a big green box, and that's Better World books. There's also one of those drop boxes on the parking lot of the yellow tag sale And that's on Route 22 in the Greenbrook area next to the Sonic restaurant. So bring your books, bring your donations to the back of the yellow tag store. They'll unload your car for you. And then you happen to be right next to Sonic. And if your car happens to drive in and you get a slushy, slurpy, delicious thing, I mean, there's your reward. So it's a win-win-win, win-win across the board. Let's be sure we're filling in our top 6 list. I hope we are. I hope so. All right. So let's think about using our final strategy to getting things done. And it's going to be a game die. We probably all have one. It's either in a board game or in the kitchen junk drawer because it came out of a board game and no one knows what board game it came out of. And we don't want to throw it away because we'll figure it out. So we're going. So you might imagine that's why I said 6, because we've got 6 sides to our die. So we have 6 projects at hand. What does that look like? Does it look like closet, garage, kitchen, bathroom? Oh my goodness. Did you know bathroom products expire? I kid you not. And in fact, they're starting to put the expiration date on the product itself. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Right next to the recycle symbol is the little icon that tells you when personal care products expire. Here it is. So here is, see that right next to the recycle symbol at the tip of my pen? That looks like a little compact or clamshell. It's meant to be like a makeup compact. And if you took a picture and enlarged it or used your magnifying glass, you'd see inside that teeny tiny little picture, it says 12M. You probably guessed it stands for 12 months. So the clock starts ticking when you bring your product home. This just happens to be hand lotion, but it could be just about anything else. You know, prescriptions and over-the-counter medications and supplements, you know they expire. First aid supplies, you know they expire. You know, that little codes on the crimping of the ointment or something. But cologne, aftershave, salt scrubs, face masks, cologne, perfume, you know, nail polish, it all expires. So maybe one of your 6 is going to be bathroom products, and let me tell you a little bit about them. If you use a liquid eyeliner or a mascara, 3 months is your expiration date. You're contaminating it and putting it back into a tube of liquid. 3 months. That's according to the manufacturers, the dermatologists I spoke with, including my own, and the research I did for my book, Keep This, Toss That. 3 months, liquid eyeliner and mascara. 6 months, SPF products and bug spray. 6 months, SPF products and bug spray. So the concern in using something beyond its expiration date is, of course, it could be irritating, even harmful. But if you're expecting a level of protection from the sun or bugs and you're not getting it, that's a challenge. So that's why we think about that. And that's 6 months, SPF products and bug spray. 1 year, and that's going to be products applied to the face. So we're thinking foundation, blush, powdered liners, pencils, aftershave, shaving cream, things like that. Things applied to the face, generally 1 year. And the final level is 2 years, and that's typically things applied to the body. Shampoo and conditioner and nail polish and lotions and potions and all the things. And that's going to be for the body. So there can be, you know, differentiations. You can check with those specific manufacturers. There are a lot of cosmetic expiration charts that you can, you know, look up online. But in general, that's a pretty good umbrella rule for things. And now if you're like, gosh, I remember I bought that, but it was before we started spending time at home, which makes it maybe 3 years old or going on that. Oh my goodness. And some of these things, regardless of how much you spent on them, and you know this to be true if you've ever gone back to something and the color's off, the consistency's off, it's sticky, it looks different, it smells different, you know things degrade even if they're just sitting there. So maybe bathrooms making it onto your top 6 list. That's a really great place to start because the decision's made for you. It's expired. There's really no hemming and hawing about keeping and tossing because it's just gone. So we have our die, 6 sides. So did you guess what we're going to do? We're going to act like we're in Atlantic City or we're on the Vegas Strip, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to give this a roll. So if you're ever stuck for what to do, you're ready to set the timer, your motivation's there, you've got the time, you're ready to take action, and then you're like, but wait, what should I do? And then I could spend the 10 minutes I have to do something trying to decide what to do. Then I do nothing. So we bring out the die, and this is really fun if you're trying to inspire someone that you share your space with. At least it's fun for the first week until you lose the die or whatever, the game is gone, but it's a fun way to get started. So I'm going to give this a roll. So look at your list and number your top 6, 1 through 6. Be sure your list is numbered, and make sure too, that list is right there because there's no re-rolling. So the thing I roll is your thing. So you can't change the numbers. That's the rules of the game. So we're going to give this, let's see, we'll give it a quick little for good luck. All right, we ready? Let's see what we get. Ooh, what do you think it is? What do you hope it is? We rolled a 5, everyone. We rolled a 5. Okay, so good guesses across the board. Look at the 5th thing on your list. That is the next one for you to tackle. Now, let's just take a look at that list in just a touch more detail, because my best guess is that some of us may have written what I used to write, which was my goal. Clean the garage, go through the kitchen, sort out my clothes. First of all, wildly overwhelming, completely. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. I would need weeks to do that, right? So a lot of times our instinct is to write the goal, but I'm going to invite you to take and write the action, not the goal, the action, right? So instead of clean the garage, it would be gather the car care supplies. Instead of clean the closet or sort out my clothes, it would be find 3 pairs of shoes to donate. Instead of the bookcase, it would be group all the books together or gather all the CDs together. Those are doable actions in a small window of time that are going to result in success. And can you see what a difference that makes, right? If I'm like, oh, organize the bathroom vanity. I don't know. I guess I kind of know what to do, but I don't know. But if I'm like, oh, go through the medicine cabinet and discard the stuff that's older, that I can do, right? Go through one vanity drawer. Be brave enough and go under the sink. If anyone is going to go under the bathroom or kitchen sink, could I just invite you to bring a flashlight and tell someone you're going, just in case you don't come back out, because we don't know what's under those sinks. It's probably been a while, and we just want to always organize safely. Edith's asking, do they put dates, expiration dates on expensive colognes like Chanel No. 5 and Shalimar? Oh, first of all, those sound beautiful. But the unfortunate answer is yes. So how much you paid for it doesn't change the expiration date as much as we might want it to, which is why you might start buying the smaller container, getting the travel size mascara. If you're going to use a mascara, get like the travel size so that it's, you can use up more of it before you have to discard it. And then we feel really bad about it. So let's take a look at where we're stuck on our top 6 list. And it may be that we've solved that by breaking it down into a doable action versus the ultimate goal. And let's think about where are we going to start next. So number 5, what's that one on your list? And then what's that next step and when, and what's the reward? The next step, when, and what's the reward? So does anyone might want to share what you rolled on a 5? What's the 5th thing on your list? You can join in chat if you'd like to. And we'll just go back to the very beginning of our time together where we talked about percolating versus procrastinating. And is it possible that you've been sort of down on yourself about not doing things, thinking you were procrastinating when in fact you just didn't have enough information to move forward? And that could look like you have something that you're thinking, should I donate it? Should I sell it? Should I keep it? I don't know. Maybe it's a collectible. And again, you're procrastinating about clearing them out, but you don't have enough information. The library is filled with books to do a lot of research on looking up the values of things. But if you're doing it from the comfort of your home, you can go to goantiques.com. That's go, G-O, the opposite of stop, antiques, and antiques has an S at the end. That's goantiques.com. And that would allow you to look up what you have and see if you might have something of some value or not. And at least you just have more information so you can make a decision. If anyone has coins and you need to look them up, and again, who really has the time to do all that, there's an app. You can find it on the website Coinoscope. So Coinoscope, it's free, like microscope, Coinoscope, and it's a free app. And you just put your camera over the coin and hopefully it's in their database and it can give you some more information. And then for any of us that have some treasures, some antiques, some Lenox, some things that I mean, I'm guessing, the next generation, if there is one in your family and they're like, nope, don't want it. Don't want your china, don't want your candlesticks, don't want your Lenox, not interested. You might want to reach out to Barbara's Unique Antique Boutique. That's a mouthful. Barbara's Unique Antique Boutique. She's in Jamesburg. I would call before you go. She buys all sorts of things. It's her and her husband. They are a delight. And they'll help you, unpack the car, and she'll tell you what she's looking for. And again, you'll make your own decision, but just from personal experience and then from some others that have connected with her, it's been lovely. So a couple of different resources. I just want to give you like a whole bunch of things so that you can take that next step if that's the step that you need to take. And don't forget about, in Tinton Falls, the train doctor. So if anyone has trains and you're like, maybe there's some value here, the train doctor will know. Yes, jump in for me.
Jamie, you're going to give us all these links, and I will send them to people either tomorrow, Friday, or Monday.
Yes, that is such a great reminder. So if you are furiously writing all this down on a piece of paper that then you're afraid you're promptly going to lose, don't worry. It's so awesome that our library is just so great that they're going to send all those resources. So you'll have everything that you need, and it'll be right there in your email. It's also, of course, at jamienovak.com, a very full list, 200 plus, which this email won't include all that, but the link to see the entire list alphabetized will be there for you. So very excited to get you all of those resources. Let's circle back to number 5 on your list and be sure you're ready to take some action. So let's take a peek. I thought we saw in the chat that we had an answer. Oh, here we go. All right. So organize my textbooks and class folders. I'm thinking of revising it into separate sections. I love that. That makes perfect sense so that you can recall what you're looking for. VC number 1 says sort papers and discard. It sounds like papers is taking a front and center approach here. Yeah, papers is a big one. So whether it's we want to read, we want to sort the papers, we want to go through stuff, a little window of time, and then you see that success. And then that's so motivating to keep going. So I'm so excited to see which one of these strategies you're going to try first. And number 5, remember, that's what we rolled. So that's the one we'll be taking action on. Do you know when you're going to take the action and what your reward might be for an action time well spent? Join us in chat if you'd like to. I think we're going to officially end our program here so that we have time for Q&A. We will stop the recording so that your personal Q&A will not be shared with those that might be watching the recording. But it was such a delight to have you join us this evening. We do hope that you'll stay in touch. You can stay in touch with me. You'll be getting everything in the email. My website is jamienovak.com. And don't forget, if you're still a little stressed out by the clutter, we really invite you to join us for that meditation class tomorrow. And subscribe to the library's newsletter so you can stay in touch. I will be back at the library and you won't want to miss that. So everything's in the chat for you.